Everybody's talking at me. I don't hear words they're saying.
Well, she's survived the White House Press Corp somehow, I don't know. Now she tackles the daily pressures of co-host on Fox News Channel, former White House Press Secretary Dana Perino. War stories, advice in her book. The good news is lessons and advice from the bright side. You always look on the bright side? Are you the eternal optimist around here?
I think I was born that way.
Yeah.
I grew up on a cattle ranch in Newcastle, Wyoming, and I think now that I look back, I guess ranchers kind of have to be optimistic because you're kind of, you have to hope that everything's going to turn out for the best.
You spent time out west, and it's such a different mentality than it is inside the Beltway.
It is, and I think actually it helped me very much to succeed when I went to Washington. And one of the reasons I wrote the book is because I want people that live in flyover country and their parents, young people, to know that you don't have to have grown up in a really big fancy city on the East Coast or go to an Ivy League schools to end up advising the president in the Oval Office. My Western values actually really helped bring some common sense judgment to the kind of advice I could give to President Bush.
George W. Bush, and I know you adore him, but to the public he sometimes came across as aloof, as a little bit disconnected. Who's the George W. that we don't know that you do?
Well, one thing I try to do in the book is take people behind the scenes from my point of view, which was 7.5 years of working for him. I would have done it again in a second. I would have done anything they asked me to do. I loved his leadership style. And I peel back the curtain and talk about what it was like for him to visit with wounded warriors. These are stories people have never heard before. How he stuck up for journalists, especially a young woman, when the network tried to Bigfoot her out of a position. And also how he really helped me restore my relationship with my father. So he became he wasn't just my boss or the commander-in-chief. He really was like a second father to me. And history has not quite gotten the story about George W. Bush right yet. Yeah. And I'm not going to necessarily change minds. But I do have an ability to provide a piece of the puzzle that hasn't been told yet.
A lot is about what they call in Washington or political speak optics. How does it look? How does it make the boss look? And you had a couple of instances during the Bush years of really bad optics. One of them was mission accomplished, standing on the deck of that aircraft carrier when the mission was far from accomplished. And another one was flying over New Orleans after Katrina, which was just, there was mayhem down on the ground. In retrospect, good decisions, bad optics?
I think everybody has admitted, including President Bush in Decision Points, the book, that those were bad calls. And the mission accomplished one too. Finally, I just said at the podium one day on the anniversary, I'm like, yes, that was a bad idea. Even though it was specific to that ship and that particular mission when they were coming back, that became a metaphor for the administration. Sort of like you didn't build that became the metaphor for the 2012 campaign for President Obama.
Right. How was your relationship with the White House Press Corp? It is by definition, it should be adversarial. And do you, as the White House Press Secretary, know everything, or is there some stuff you'd really rather go into the briefing not knowing?
Well, no one kept anything from me to try to protect me. That was not the kind of White House we ran. I was not the kind of press secretary that thought that I should be protected from bad information. So I had a lot of access, and I have a little lockbox in my head for all the top secret information. I just kept it in there. But I had a good relationship with the White House Press Corp. I felt my job was 50-50. 50% defend and advocate for the President of the United States, and the other 50 defend and advocate for the access of the White House Press Corps to the President of the United States.
Well, you get the chance to meet Dana Perino. You got a couple of book signings coming up. You got a Bush Center event tomorrow. That's sold out, but she is going to be at
Fort Worth.
Barnes & Noble.
Yep, in Barnes & Noble at Fort Worth, and then at 5 p.m. Going over to Plano to Sam's Club. And I just love being in Texas.
Absolutely. We love having you here.
Thank
and get
you.
to see the boss.
A lot of people think I'm from here, so hopefully I can just have an honorary position.
Yeah, Wyoming's pretty close. I mean, spiritually kind of close. Anyway, you can find a link to the book and her website on fox4news.com, and we'll see you on the 5.
The 5 coming up this week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
More to come here on Good Day. The Dallas